So the question now, we got UK Bowl eligible. All we need is one more win for IU to do the same, and they can do it today, except they play Michigan, who's unbeaten, #2 in the country, and one of the favorites for the national title. But of course, strange things happen, right? Well, maybe so, but not today in Bloomington.
Do you know what this is?
I don't know what that is.
Tell me what that is. It's what you call a helmet head. It's one of my friends at IU had one of these, and if they win tomorrow, I will guarantee that Joe Arnold will wear this on WHS 11 News. I'm a big, strong guy. I'm not big enough to carry a tree, but you know the Stanford mascot is the Cardinal. So here's the Stanford Cardinal. Here's Rick Pitino. In my opinion, Pitino looks a little bit more menacing than this tree right here, but that's just my opinion. All right, how about this first scenario? You win a couple of regular season games in lovely Lexington, Kentucky, and as a reward, you go way west. 3 days later, you're in Hawaii for the rest of the week. Rough life, isn't it? This is the Cardinals' first ever Big East game against the team right behind me, the Villanova Wildcats, and it couldn't be a tougher one.
Well, our resident bracketologist is joining us this morning, Sean Bartel.
Does that mean I get a raise, Renee?
Yes, yeah. You're officially an expert.
Call the boss then. That's fantastic. The last 3 times the Cardinals have faced postseason elimination, the opponent's pitching staff has suffered big time. 13 days ago, U of L faced Missouri and scored 16 runs. Last week when they faced Oklahoma State, the Cardinals scored 22, and then you had today at the College World Series a loss, and U of L would go home. As we all know right now, that did not happen. U of L was already ahead in the second inning when Chris Dominguez slammed this home run deep to center field. Cardinals went up 5-0 and didn't look back. 2 innings later, it's Daniel Burton's turn. A 3-run shot. Cardinals went up 8-0. Really, the game was never in doubt, and because of the big guy on the team. One more home run in the 7th inning from Chris Dominguez. This is an absolute blast to left field. 4 home runs in the day for the Cardinals. They get 10 runs in their first 2 games of the series. We're going to tell you more about how significant that is in a second. But first, Kyle Draper talks to the Cardinals in Omaha about staying alive. And the Cardinals have been whacking the ball around the field the first 2 games of the College World Series. They become the 5th team in history to get 10-plus runs in their first 2 games of the College World Series. That's because they had 33 hits, 22 runs in 2 games, and 7 home runs. The offensive explosion continues for U of L. And next they're going to play North Carolina. That's because the Tar Heels lost this evening in a game against Rice, the same Rice team that beat U of L on Friday. This is pretty much how the game went. Everything went Rice's way. Nothing went North Carolina's way. Here a double there by Jared Gayhart for the Rice squad that comes up with a victory tonight, 14-4. Cards and Tar Heels in an elimination game Tuesday at 2 p.m. in Omaha. Bats come up with a victory as well tonight, 9-5. They take 3 out of 4 from Rochester. They get big runs tonight as well, 9 runs from the Louisville Bats. Next in sports, our first look at guard Edgar Sosa on the court after injuring his ankle. And if Cards fans think they're holding their breath over players' injuries, imagine if you were really holding your breath. These people may seem a bit crazy because, well, just by looking at the video, they probably are. What the heck they're doing in just a second. All right, last night we were showing you the Cardinals' father-son basketball camp, and while we were there shooting the camp, we got our first peek at Edgar Sosa and his injured ankle. This is video of Sosa's boot from the camp and from his ankle. You see right there, he's getting around a little bit slower, but he is actually walking around the basketball court. He can play with some of the kids. He suffered a mild ankle sprain in a pickup basketball game about a week and a half ago. Didn't get an update on his condition, but we're told by the U of L staff the injury not considered serious and not going to affect his season next year. Now that's forward Derek Character, also attending the camp. He is set for surgery tomorrow after tearing a small cartilage in his knee. He will be out 4 to 6 weeks, but as you can see there, he is moving around, so maybe everybody on U of L can stop holding their breaths. Looks like they're going to be okay. Formula One racing today in Indianapolis. That's Lewis Hamilton, who last week became the first African-American ever to win an F1 race. And guess what? He did it again today, winning the U.S. Grand Prix. And this is how you win, and this is how you celebrate. You take 2 huge bottles of champagne, and you spray the guy there in the polo shirt and the credentials. Thank goodness we were not there because I don't want to get my sport coat all dirty with champagne. NASCAR racing today, the Citizens Bank 400 in Michigan. Ryan Newman gets clipped by Jeff Green, takes out Martin Truex Jr., Brian Vickers, Matt Kenseth, everybody from Joe Arnold all the way down to Doug Proffitt goes into the infield. No serious injuries, no serious wrecks. Carl Edwards comes up with a victory here. His first Nextel Cup win in 52 races, and when you win, you get to do this. Whoop, the backflip. Doug Proffitt can do that. I cannot do that. In case you're nowhere near the scoreboard at 4th Street Live, the 2008 Ryder Cup at Valhalla is right now 14 months, 28 days, 8 hours, 36 minutes, and 15 seconds away. Make that 14 seconds 13 seconds.
We get the point.
12 seconds. It's getting closer and closer. Until then, we have today's U.S. Open. Today, out in Pennsylvania, 15th hole, 169 yards away. Angel Cabrera within feet of the hole. He would get a birdie. Shot a 69 today, which if you know anything about this course, that's just amazing. He's at +5, has a one-shot lead on Tiger Woods. This is to send it to extra holes and to a playoff for tomorrow, but Tiger just can't get this one to go. Angel Cabrera comes up with a victory, and you see the excitement on his face. Congrats to him, Tiger Woods. Second place. Finally, what better way for a brother and sister to bond than holding their breath underwater for so long? That's Arvydas and Diana Gaiasunas. I hope I'm pronouncing their names right because they spend a lot of time underwater. They're from Lithuania trying to set a world record. Diana made it 11 minutes and 7 seconds underwater. Arvydas went nearly 16 minutes. Can you believe that? 16 minutes. Organizers say those are world records, but no one's sure if Guinness is going to recognize it. The other question is, why on earth would they want to do this? But
this explains you a lot, though, I think.
this
is what happened.
This is exactly, yeah, maybe that's what happened when I was a child. I don't know.
Timmy Martin, when we come back.
And Melissa, just to win that money, Colleen needs to make one free throw live on Good Morning America and do it all while she's 5 months pregnant. But to do so, she will do it on a day that for many other reasons could be one of the most difficult of her life. Just one of these at the right time could send Colleen Backus into early retirement.
I'll probably wake up and be like, oh my God, it's really going to happen, you know. I really could win $1 million.
If you ever wondered who wins those crazy 1 in a billion games, well, she's it. Planters will send Colleen and her husband to the Final Four, then fly her to New York to shoot one free throw while 5 months pregnant for $1 million.
I just wish I could be here when the baby's born.
But that moment will be among the last she will see of her husband Shane for quite a while. Hours later, on that very day, he'll fly to Germany, training for what likely will send him eventually to Iraq.
Some days I think about how quiet the house is going to be. And I think about that flight home, and I'm thinking that poor guy next to me.
This is what will be their first child. It's not been easy for either of them. Colleen has already miscarried twice.
Even though we won this trip and everything, just because of everything's working out with this baby, nothing's better than this baby.
There's no amount of money that can take care of what, you know, me and her have together. You know, it's not worth any amount of money, really.
They'll try not to think about the separation.
It's the best way you could have to say goodbye.
And if Colleen makes that free throw,
I'd make sure I didn't go into labor.
but in the end, they will both have something much bigger than a single shot.
I love you, and take care of the baby and take care of yourself and just do the best you can.
Now, the family will leave for the Final Four a week from Friday, then fly to New York on Tuesday and wait for their big moment on Good Morning America. And right before they leave for the Final Four in St. Louis, both of them will find out if the baby is going to be a girl or is going to be a boy. Sean Bartel, WHAS 11 News, 19. Pat Day had to have hip surgery that forced him to miss his first Kentucky Derby in over 2 decades. But he says a higher calling is the reason that he is leaving racing now. His legend, though, is told through his lone Derby victory.
And down the stretch they come.
For better or worse, we define athletes by single moments. And while you saw his single moment back in 1992,
Lil E.T. bringing Pat Day at long last his first Kentucky Derby win.
you didn't see what preceded it. The night before, Day talked with a child named Todd at Cosair's Children's Hospital. Todd was on a stretcher when Pat said this.
I'm going to wear this hat for you tomorrow. And he looked up at me and gave me a smile, and I said, I'm going to put it on in the winner's circle after the Derby tomorrow for you.
Simply, Day was the fans' jockey, but today he couldn't give the fans any more.
I know I'm doing what God wants me to do, but I love this game.
Understand Pat Day's emotions, but also understand the crowds. Face it, we live in a hyper-cynical sports world where we can't trust the athletes we thought we could, where we wonder if some stars want to trademark the letter I. Pat Days are not the norm.
I'm gonna miss it a lot, and that in particular.
And in some ways, we define cities by the athletes that play in them. For Louisville, it could do a whole lot worse than Pat Day. In Pat Day's career, he won nearly $300 million in prize money. Can you believe that? 9 Triple Crown races, including 5 at the Preakness. His work will now be with the Racing Chaplaincy Program of America, as well as working as a motivational speaker to spread the word of Christ.
He could be a great motivational speaker. Just a truly, truly nice person. And I think that's why everyone feels so close to him.
And it's one of those, he was dominant and yet at the same time human.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much, Sean. We'll be seeing more of you later.
For so many days, two men's single dream lived right here in Barn K at Churchill Downs Trackside Training Facility. That dream is now gone.
Then there's days like this. It obviously hasn't been much fun.
With the city would have been trainer Mike Maker and owner Ron Peltz's very first Kentucky Derby horse. It all seemed so real back in late March.
40-1 outsider with a city springs the upset.
When the horse won the Lanes End Stakes at Turfway Park, it virtually sealed their first trip to the Derby, a trip that now won't happen.
To be honest with you, as bad as it sounds, I would have rather had him break his leg than go through what he had to go through.
Thursday, the horse came down with severe diarrhea, was taken to Lexington's Haggard Equine Medical Institute, but it may already have been too late.
By that night, he was, having seizures where he was, he was down on the ground, he couldn't get up, and he was just beating himself up.
It got worse on Friday and Saturday, and at 9:30 today, they put the horse down. Veterinarians have already ruled out some of the better-known horse diseases like equine herpes or the strangles virus. But at this point, as to a cause, they're about as puzzled as the horse's trainer and owner. Vets say with the city's illness could be some problem with his brain, but nobody right now has a concrete answer.
I've been on the racetrack my whole life, and the veterinarians had quite a bit of experience, and they've never seen nothing like it.
All Mike Maker knows now is he'll be free a week from Saturday.
Obviously, it's not good to lose the best horse in your barn, but
now he just wants a reason why.